Every culture on Earth drew the same 5 monsters. None of them ever got to see one. A dragon that breathes fire, a bird that burns itself to live, a squid the size of a house that lives where light never reaches, a horse that can clean poison with its forehead, a woman who breathes both air and water. None of them exist, but evolution came shockingly close to building all five. And the reason it stopped is more interesting than the myth. 1. The dragon. There is a beetle that makes fire, not metaphorical fire, real chemical fire. The bombardier beetle mixes hydrogen peroxide and hydroquinone in two separate chambers in its abdomen. When it is threatened, it opens a valve. They meet. The reaction hits 100 degrees Celsius and explodes out of its body as a boiling spray. It is as close to a flamethrower as biology ever got. Now imagine that same trick scaled up in a reptile that stores its own fuel. A dragon wouldn't need magic to breathe fire. It would need to be a cow. Deep in its gut would be fermentation chambers. Trillions of archaea breaking down meat and bone into methane and hydrogen the same way your gut makes gas. That gas would collect in paired dorsal bladders along its spine, pressurized, waiting. Its mouth would have two glands, one with hydrogen peroxide, one with catalase. A palatal valve squeezes them together. That's the pilot light. The exhale does the rest. The only reason its mouth doesn't melt is because it is lined with keratin, like the inside of a chicken's stomach, coated in heat shock proteins, the same proteins tardigrades use to survive in space. And underneath, axolotl-like tissue that regrows overnight. One 3-second burn would cost 50,000 kilocalories. It would have to eat 3 cows to do it once. And then it couldn't fly. Because to fly at 6 tons, its bones have to be hollow. Its chest has to be a giant keeled sternum. Its lungs have to be flow-through, like a bird's, with air sacs running its whole body just to hold enough oxygen. A flying, fire-breathing reptile isn't impossible because of the fire. It's impossible because it would starve trying to carry it. 2. The phoenix. There is a bird that was supposed to be immortal. Not metaphorically, it just refuses to stop being born. In the tail of the phoenix would be a gland full of squalene wax, the same wax you have in your ear, but concentrated. At the end of its life, when its telomeres get too short, it floods its feathers with it. Then it makes itself feverish. A protein called UCP1 uncouples its mitochondria. Its core temperature climbs to 58 degrees. A weak electric discharge in its chest, like the shock of an electric eel, ignites the wax. It burns itself on purpose. The flesh is not the point. The flesh is meant to die. Deep in its keel is an egg made of calcium phosphate, like a narwhal tusk. Inside, dehydrated stem cells, yolk, and vitellogenin. As the body chars around it, those cells enter cryptobiosis. They turn to glass. They use a protein called the same protein tardigrades use to survive radiation, and a sugar called trehalose to vitrify. They wait out the fire inside their own ash. When it cools below 50 degrees, chaperone proteins called HSP-104 refold what was broken. The surviving cells form a blastema, like an axolotl regrowing a leg, and rebuild a beak, a bone, a feather in 12 hours. And telomerase rebuilds its telomeres to 0. It is biologically newborn. The cost is 3 months of stored fat. The chick can't fly. It is blind and hungry. And if it rains, if the wind scatters the ash, if the egg cracks, it ends. It was never resurrection. It was a bird that learned to turn death into a seed. 3. The Kraken. We already built the Kraken. We just never met the adult. The colossal squid is 14 meters long. It lives at 1,000 meters, where pressure is 100 times what you feel right now. How does anything get that big? Cold water holds more oxygen. And if you never stop growing, if you stay juvenile for 80 years like a Greenland shark, like an axolotl, you just keep getting larger. How does it not get crushed? It has no gas bladder, no lungs to implode. Its body is water, muscle, and cartilage, pressure-proof by default. At the molecular level, pressure unfolds your proteins. The Kraken would need piezolites, molecules that hold proteins together under pressure, specifically TMAO, trimethylamine N oxide. The Hadal snailfish uses the same trick at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Its cells would also make tardigrade-like chaperone proteins, and its blood would be blue, not red. Hemocyanin, copper-based, like the giant Pacific octopus. It works better in cold, low-oxygen water where our hemoglobin fails. Its tentacles are muscular hydrostats. No bones. No joints to crush. Just muscle. So why don't we see it? Because it can never come up. Above 200 meters, its TMAO makes its proteins too stiff. Its blue blood can't let go of oxygen in warm water. Lactic acid builds. Its muscles seize. The Kraken isn't hiding from us. It is trapped by the surface. 4. The unicorn. There is a horse that already has a horn that can sense the world. The narwhal's tusk is a tooth. A spiraled, living tooth with nerves inside that can taste salt, temperature, pressure. The unicorn's horn would be the same. A frontal bone covered in keratin, but porous inside. Full of dentinal tubules, like a sponge. The spiral grooves aren't decoration. They increase surface area, and they house electroreceptive cilia, like a platypus bill, that read the tiny electric field changes caused by heavy metals and venom. Inside, it is a pharmacy. Holocrine glands line the core, like the bombardier beetle's chambers. When it senses poison, a muscular pump squeezes. Serum weeps out through micropores. Lysozyme and defensin peptides to break bacterial walls. Metallothionein and phytochalatin to bind lead and mercury and snake venom. And hold it so it can't hurt you. Peroxidases and catalases to oxidize cyanide and alkaloids. Stir it in water, it disinfects. Press it to a wound, it delivers growth factors, like an axolotl healing a cut, and tardigrade proteins that keep cells stable. The cost is constant. Calcium, protein, sulfur, always being turned over. Overused animals go anemic. Their horns go weak. And hornless foals have no protection at all. One horn, one filter, and if it cracks, bacteria get into the marrow and it dies of sepsis. It was never magic. It was an immune system that grew outside the body. 5. The mermaid. You have gills. For a little while. When you were an embryo, you had pharyngeal arches. So did a fish. So did a seal. The mermaid just never lost them. She would have 2 ways to breathe. Lungs like a Weddell seal, elastic, that collapse safely on a deep dive to avoid the bends. And 3 pairs of external gill filaments, hidden in her hair and along her neck, feathery, axolotl-like, coated in mucus, full of blood. In water, a cardiac shunt sends 70% of her blood to them. On land, sphincters seal them shut like a lungfish. She would be warm. A 2 to 4 centimeter layer of blubber, like a dolphin, and a rete mirabile, a tangled net of arteries and veins in her neck and tail, where warm blood going out heats cold blood coming back, counter-current exchange. It keeps a 37-degree core in 10-degree water. Salt would kill her unless she cries it out. Enlarged supraorbital salt glands behind her eyes like marine iguanas, pumping sodium chloride out through her nose via sodium-potassium ATPase pumps. She would literally cry salt, and reniculate kidneys, lobed like a dolphin's, made of 500 tiny kidneys, to make urine 5 times saltier than seawater. Her tail wouldn't be fish, it would be cetacean. Femur and tibia fused into a muscular peduncle driving a horizontal fluke, powered by tendon recoil and slow-twitch fibers stuffed with myoglobin. When she dives, her heart drops to 12 beats per minute. Peripheral vessels clamp. Her spleen contracts and dumps red cells. The mammalian diving reflex. Seals do it. You do it a little when you put your face in cold water. The cost is 45% more calories than you, every day just to heat blood and perfuse gills. The gills drag, they snag, they infect, they rot after 6 hours dry. On land, blubber makes her helpless. She was never meant for both worlds. She was meant for the edge, the cold, shallow coast where you have to hold your breath and keep your child warm. So which one almost made it? The phoenix is the least likely. It needs an egg that survives its own cremation. The dragon is next. The fire is easy. The flight is what would starve it. The unicorn is plausible. A narwhal already does 90% of it. The mermaid is more plausible. Seals, axolotls, and iguanas prove every single piece works. And the kraken, we already have it. We just haven't met the big adult. Maybe the strangest part isn't that nature skipped the dragon. It's that we kept inventing the same 5 animals on continents that never spoke to each other, out of fears and hopes far older than our species. And we gave them the exact shape evolution almost did. If you look at the ocean tonight, something that big is still down there, not watching us, just trapped by the light.